Hey everyone, welcome to The Gig, a series about film and TV from behind the scenes and on the screen. We're your hosts, Layla T. Rosario
and Jessica L. Ransom.
And today we are going to talk about Black as Fuck.
Yay! All right. So let's give a little background on what this show's about. It's starring Kenya Barris, who is the creator and writer of Blackish, Mixish, Grownish. And he basically is doing a show called Black as Fuck, and it's basically another show about his life, but more like a mockumentary style. He's actually starring in it this time, and it's more just like a dirty Blackish is what I would call it. So Layla, what'd you think of it?
So there are a couple of things that I love about it, and then there's some things that I think that can be reworked on. I absolutely love seeing a successful family. I love the fact that there's comedy involved, and we do have some interesting dynamics between Kenya and Rashida Jones. But what was really hard for me, and what continues to be hard for me when I watch the show and digest it, is how pretentious the family can come off with this level of excess amount of resources, how easy it is for them versus the access to what most of the viewers may have. And even so, just like leading up to the choices that the children may have for themselves because of the success of Kenya Barris. I'm not here to say like, oh my God, we shouldn't praise that. Yes, it's great to see finally a rich Black family being able to have the amount of job privileges as well as money to throw around. But the way that the money is being thrown around, it's almost like it's being thrown in my face. You know, to a point where I'm like, I get that you have a really expensive backpack. I get that like things might be so difficult for you because you don't have the right type of fucking painting on your wall. Okay, I get that is your first world problem. I get it. But that to me, it's like, it's overly done. The things that I do love about it is I think Rashida Jones is the star of the show. And I know that's something that you said off camera. She's fantastic. She comes from Parks and Recreation background. She also comes from a background of being featured on The Office. And because she's able to improv and also do scripted work, it like you could see she is holding the weight of the show. Also too, the children, we need to identify like really what is their role in the show other than just being a whole bunch of kids that they have between the two of them. Like they're all smart and beautiful and adorable to watch and to look at. But at the end of the day, like we got to give them a little more direction. And perhaps we give them a little more control in terms of like, what is it that they're trying to say? Minus the main daughter who's got accepted into NYU saying, this is what we're doing a documentary about my family. But because of Kenya's success with Blackish, Grownish, etc., and those historical points that we see in those shows, why not pass the baton to the kids to focus on that as an example? I think Kenya is incredibly talented. I think it would have been great to see him as someone to coach, to play him. I don't necessarily think that he's the strongest character to be able to hold any weight with Rashida. And also too, it's not believable to me that they are a married couple. And I feel that there's not believable body language between the two of them. And even if it's a couple over time who are over it, you still see a level of like familiarity. And I don't see the familiarity between the two of them. It feels very staged.
To start this out in prefaces, I love Kenya's content. I'm a huge fan of Blackish, huge fan of Grownish. I like Mixish. I had very, 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 very high hopes for Black as Fuck. Like very high hopes for this. And I so far am disappointed. So my 7 points being, number one, I feel the show is very self-indulgent. I feel like it's very much about his money, his cars. Like the first joke out the gate was about how big his dick is. I was like, really? We're doing this now? I'm very put off by it. I don't mind shows about rich people. I mean, like there's Succession. There's a whole bunch of shows. And I'll get into later also about Real Husbands of Hollywood. This show's also about Black wealth and excess. But for some reason, I'm not connecting to how pretentious this show is so far. The second point is the Curb Your Enthusiasm style. Like you talked about before, the zooms, the ins and out, that's very Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's very like improv-y kind of feel to it. Mockumentary would be it. And I don't think it works in this case because Kenya is not a strong enough actor to have this kind of off the cut offbeat kind of feel it needs to it. Rashida, who's my third point coming in, Rashida is the star, the queen, the master, the talent. She needs to be front and center. She can do this style of like offbeat kind of comedy, and he can't bring it because he's not an actor, and that is okay. Which brings me to my next point. We need more adults in this show. When he's around as adults, like there's a scene where he's sitting at the writer's room table, that's one of the best scenes. When he's with his boys, that's a great scene because adults help him and his acting and they aid to it. The kids, to me, are just nondescript. They're Blackish knocks off. They're all over the place. They're not distinct. So they're not really helping him in terms of his acting. And I feel like we need more adults in this show to do it. The other point I have to make is the history lessons. In Blackish, number one, I can say with this show is that like it's about a protagonist, a family, a warm family. You're interested in learning about them. You're interested in learning about the history. I feel in this show, he's kind of an asshole. Like who wants to take a history lesson from an asshole? And the way they put it together is so clumsy. And it's like all of a sudden, like, we're gonna tell you about Juneteenth. Like really, it's like thrown together. Whereas in Blackish, the writing is so strong, it leads up to why this should be explained. I would love for them to do A Real Husbands of Hollywood, and my other favorite show is Single Parents, where you see a group of Black families and you see them all rich and all them trying to like, oh, we got my kids in the best school and like kind of making fun of them being rich. But you could get like Gabrielle Union, like she comes on and like it's like a vegan, Black vegan mother, and it's like really anal about what her kids eat and got mad because someone gave them eggs one day. Oh my God, Will and Jada would be perfect for the type of show. And you obviously would get the kids played by someone else, or if the kids want to act like Will and Jada's kids can't act, they can do it. And and it'd just be great. Like Will and Jada coming over to hang out with Kenya and them like ragging on each other, and you know what I mean? And then Jada and like Rashida get a little tip. I would love it.
I'd be here for it. I'm here for it.
I think that's the show. I am rooting for it to get a season 2 because that's, I always support anything Black, and anyone getting a season 2 to me is great. I just hope in season 2 he realizes what he has. He has a gold mine in Rashida Jones. Run with that.
Run with that. He's a strong one. Absolutely. And also too, just perhaps in season 2, we'll see a bit more chemistry between the two of them. I want to see more of that as well. Even if they are opposite odds and ends of the spectrum, there's still something to be said about seeing them win as a unified voice. I get the competition, like I'm the better parent between the kids. After a while, that's going to get a little bit old, right? In terms of seeing that all the time. And that at some point, and maybe that's what we'll see in season 2, we see them coming together to really be the power couple that they're both trying to fight for individually. And it'd be great to see them do that. And maybe have the kids against you. Because kids at a certain age, they hate everybody. At 15, you hating everybody, you're trying to find out who you are. And maybe it could be that. Who knows? But I love the idea of like introducing more rich Black Hollywood actors and couples into the show. If we get Gabrielle, Will, and Jada, it's a win. Yeah. I think you should write it.
Yeah, I think that's the show because to me, I would love to see that. And you could still do the mockumentary. We could have all his thing. He has the bones to make on a really, really good show. It just needs to be tweaked.
And the money. Because there's no fucking way that you can have all those new songs that are released, and in every episode you have a hot, trending, relevant song right now that is on Netflix. I would love to know what was the music budget and who the music producers were on this to get all of these clearances to be able to say, yeah, we want your song featured in this next show for Black as Fuck. Like that's huge. And even getting cameo guest appearances from Lena Waithe, Issa Rae, to have in the episodes, like that's a favor. Like that's a call-in. I'm curious to know what was their budget, for the production budget per episode.
Oh, because it looks beautiful. Like the show itself is like so well produced. I'm like, this is a beautiful show, But again, I'm like, the writing isn't there, which is sad because that's his whole thing. Like Kenya's known for really well-written shows, and especially dealing with Black people and POCs, because Grownish is across the board. And like, how did you miss the one thing that is like your strong suit?
Because he's in it.
That's a reach right there.
Because he's in it. Like you got to step away from it and just get someone to be you, or get a stronger acting coach that can get you to your goal of who you, the asshole character you want to portray of yourself in this mockumentary style show. Right now, to your point, it just kind of feels like it's all over the place. And yet I'm still invested because I think Rashida's amazing. Loved her on Parks and Recreation. And I think because of her improv background and scripted background with Parks and Recreation, I see, and she was also on The Office, I see why she's successful in this show because she can carry that. She can carry this, like, I could do scripted, I could do improv, I could do a little bit of both on set and just let it play out. And to your point, she should just be the lead and run with it. But we are here to support it. I will continue to watch. I will continue to support this show. I know you are too. And let's see what happens, and may they get renewed for season 2. And congrats to everyone for getting this made. So that's our thing on Black as Fuck. And we hope that you are safe and sound during these COVID times. Thank you for your continued support. We are going to keep rolling these out on Zoom, and we want to hear your feedback on Black as Fuck. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you. Bye.